Hi, I'm Cathy Holloway Hill and welcome to Living by Design. I have a very special show today, and this guest coming up on my show is someone you absolutely will want to hear from. He's an icon. He's a broadcast media legend. He is none other than Mr. Tony Lamont. Coming up on Living by Design.
Imagine walking away from a 28-year executive management career in corporate America to pursue your passion of empowering the world, giving them the tools they need to live their dreams. The Living by Design show with Cathy Holloway Hill. Impactful, informative, empowering. Take a look at a few of the guests that have been on the show. It's your time to be living by design.
Welcome to Living by Design. I am so excited about today's show because I have a broadcast legend. I have an icon, someone that came into your homes many evenings on Who's Your Millionaire, who was on the radio for over 30 years. This individual has the world's biggest voice, and he also has the world's biggest heart. And he is none other than the love of my life, Mr. Tony Lamont. Tony, welcome to Living by Design.
Thanks, Cathy.
I am so excited to have an opportunity to interview you. You know that I am your biggest fan.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Multiple reasons.
Okay.
And I'm just really excited that the viewers are going to have an opportunity to know what's been going on with you, because I know you've been off the radio for a while. Right. And, you know, you did the 25th anniversary of Who's Your Millionaire?
For about 6 months, we traveled all over the state of Indiana, and we had an opportunity to go around and kind of visit the fans all over again.
Now, before we move on to the next question,
okay,
Tony.
Yes.
The viewers out there love you.
Okay.
And so do I.
All right.
And we need to hear that famous line.
Oh, you mean the line from the show?
Yes.
Okay, the line from the show, of course.
The line that you're most famous for.
Thanks, Mark. And that was what everybody knows me for. So in this particular case, because I'm on your show, I can say, thanks, Cathy, and it's got that same kind of feel.
Oh. Please forgive me.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm good now.
All right.
Thank you, Tony, for that. So, yeah, let's talk about some of the other things that you're involved in. Now, I know you do a lot of work with Camp Atterbury Job Corps because you are very passionate about empowering young men and being involved in some of those events. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm really excited because I've always worked with young people throughout my career. I use my celebrity to have the opportunity to work with young people. So I've always done leadership training. I've always done mentoring. I've done motivational kinds of things. So I've always done that kind of thing. So now I'm working day to day, working at Camp Atterbury Job Corps. I handle the what's called peer leadership coordinator position. Yes. And I'm working with the student government and also the leadership on the center and the campus. So what my responsibility is to teach young men and women how to become leaders and how to have leadership quality. So when they leave that 24-hour training facility, they know not only can they do the job, but they can be leaders in any position in life. And so that's what I teach them.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you about one of the, in addition to Who's Your Millionaire, mm-hmm. your biggest following, WTLC radio.
Oh yeah, WTLC. I can't, you know.
Well, actually WTLC and then AM 1310 and the hip hop channel.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to do a little bit of everything, I guess is the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
Because having a 33 plus year career in radio and television broadcasting.
Which is amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I had an opportunity to work at WTLC 105.7 and then of course WTLC 106.7, but also worked 100.9, which was the jazz station at that time, 96.3, which was the hip hop station when it first started. I also did a little country, WGGR. A lot of folks don't know, but I actually started in radio in Plainfield, Indiana, at a station called WXIR called Love 98. And it was a Southern gospel station that had gospel music and also gospel programming. And that's when I started my career. And a few months after I started the career there, I went to WTLC FM. And I did that and just had a great time. I can't say enough about my broadcast career because Indianapolis has been amazing to me. Awesome. I love Indianapolis. I had many opportunities. Folks offered me jobs outside of Indianapolis for decades. Folks would come to me and ask me if I wanted to go Philadelphia. I had an offer in New York, Chicago, and I just...
With a voice like that, yes.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think what it came down to is I just love home. You know, a lot of folks thought I was scared, and it was so funny. I wasn't scared, I love Indianapolis.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everyone has to live according to their purpose, because I talk a lot about owning your identity, and that's what you did, and I appreciate that. And I also want to mention for my viewers who are watching who may not know that you are the executive producer of this show.
Yeah, I am. It took on that task not long ago. We've been doing it about a year or so, and I love this.
And it started with Living by Design Radio.
Right, and so folks will know, we are a team, husband and wife team, of course, but in this particular case, I remember having a sitting down conversation with you because you are a planner, and you talk about doing all kinds of different things. So what I said was, you know what, let's try to expand your radio platform onto a television show. And I'm glad you weren't reluctant. And so what we decided to do was move forward with that. So we actually had a call in the midst of us having that conversation.
Exactly.
And that call was right on time. You know, God is about, timing. You know, he may not come when you want him to, but he's always right on time.
Amen.
And so we got that call and we moved forward and we started the Living by Design television show.
And it has been magnificent. Tony, I received so many emails, as you know, and just a lot of feedback from people just outside the Indiana market, because we have the YouTube viewers. Hopefully you're going to our YouTube channel.
Right.
And there are so many people outside the Indiana market who are seeing the show and they're loving the show. They love the content. They love the guests. And it's just really having an impact on so many people's lives. And you do a magnificent job with the show. And for all of you out there who don't know, Tony has so many skills. He's a video editor. He's a videographer. He shoots, he edits, he puts the entire show together. And Tony Lamont Enterprises consist of that, right? Right.
I mean, my company, I've had it for quite a few years. A lot of folks don't know. They think about the radio side of things.
Right.
But I've also had a television broadcast or commercial broadcast where I would sit down and put shows together, do commercials for clients, and television production. So this is kind of my full-time job too, putting this show together. I gotta say that I enjoy working with you. I enjoy your passion, and I'll just say this to the viewers out there. The thing that you have to understand, and you probably see it in every show, is that Cathy has an extraordinary passion for this work. She wants to make sure that young men and women across not only the country but around the world, and particularly here in Indianapolis, they understand how important it is to be a better self. And that's what Living by Design is all about. But you know what? I'm going to take the lead this time.
Oh.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to switch seats. Taking on that executive producer thing. We're gonna switch seats, and I'm gonna interview you, because I spent years interviewing celebrities, and you are a celebrity. So I want to take the time to interview you and see what's going on with you, because a lot of folks don't really realize, besides doing this show, there are a lot of things going on with you. So
I would love that.
So is that okay with you?
Yes, okay, absolutely.
So this is what I'm gonna do. In just a moment, we'll be right back with more of Living by Design.
Cathy Holloway Hill, founder and CEO of C. Holloway Hill Enterprises, is committed to providing her clients with the highest level of excellence with a special emphasis on employee branding. The greatest asset organizations possess are their people, and C. Holloway Hill Enterprises teaches you how to maximize their potential, which leads to reduced turnover, improved morale, and increased profits. Their youth programs will transform our young people into future leaders. Their services can be customized to meet your specific needs needs and the metrics speak for themselves. So, if you're ready to receive results-oriented services, then let's get growing with C. Holloway Hill Enterprises today. Visit their website at www.chollowayhill.com or call 502-387-7701. Welcome back to Living by Design. I am your host, Tony Lamont, and I have the privilege right now sitting down with my co-host in this particular case, the host of Living by Design, Ms. Cathy Holloway Hill, who, as many of you may or may not know, Cathy is also my wife, and this is the first opportunity that I've had to really sit down and interview you. I've had the privilege of interviewing a lot of folks, but I also had an opportunity to see you interviewed by quite a few folks when you were in the Louisville area, because of course your Living by Design show was a part of the radio show there, and the concept with some of your books, and we'll talk a little bit more about the things that you're doing with your books and all those kinds of things. But you had an opportunity to be interviewed by quite a few folks in Louisville, but I've never had a chance to sit down on camera with you and interview you. So my question to you is, how does this feel?
Well, I must say that because of your status and because of the status of the people that you have interviewed, oh my goodness, Mr. Barack Obama and many others, I feel honored. I am just so pleased and a little bit nervous.
Well, I appreciate that. Nothing to be nervous about, of course.
Well, you're just awesome, Tony. And I know everyone out there is thinking, well, of course you're saying that because you're his wife, but I really am your biggest fan, long before you even knew who I was. So.
I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, you starting Living by Design. A lot of folks don't know that Living by Design was a radio show first. Talk a little bit about the radio show, the Living by Design radio show, which actually is still going on, right?
It actually is. And all of our shows are archived. It's on demand 24/7. So anytime you want to go, and it's Blog Talk Radio. You can look it up it's on your screen right now if you want to go to Blog Talk Radio and hear any of the celebrity interviews that I've had the opportunity and the privilege to do. My last one was with Dr. Maya Angelou before she passed away. And I was just so excited to have that opportunity. And I just want to back up a little bit, if you don't mind, because I want everyone to know why I stepped out of corporate America to do this, because a lot of people out there may or may not know that I spent 28 years in corporate America.
Right.
And I had a very lucrative salary in the technology industry. And I was not happy doing that. And I was doing volunteer free work on the side, working with Girl Scouts, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and youth organizations, because I was a mentor. Because when I graduated college at such a young age, 19, and started working at IBM at 19, I was so young. So many people told me, you really need to be a mentor to other young girls. And I started to notice that that's what was really fueling my soul. I had a lot of dysfunction in my life growing up, Tony, and I won't get into all of that. But what happens in our lives, and this is just really who I am, instead of allowing our pain to make us bitter, we need to use our power to make us better. And I wanted to do that, so I started praying and meditating and just really going inside for answers. And this is the answer. And right at that time is when you came into my life. And I really believe that God sends us the right people when we're ready to step out and live our purpose. And that's when I started the Living by Design radio show. And it's just been magnificent.
Now, and let's talk about that for a second, because here's the thing that a lot of folks don't know, and I know you did that. A lucrative career in corporate America.
Yes.
Making a lot of money.
Yes.
A lot of people get married to the money.
That's correct.
Instead of married to the passion.
And I was for a while.
So how in your spirit, when you made that determination, I know you see you prayed on it, but it takes a lot of something inside you to say, you know what? I'm going to do this regardless of how much I get paid, because this is what I was meant to do.
For me, because I was making such a lucrative salary, I put an exit strategy in place. I didn't just up and quit. It was gradually, strategically planned over a 5-year period. And I put money aside because I knew I wanted to step out. I knew I was preparing myself. Now, if you're in a position and you can't do that, there's nothing wrong with having a full-time job while you're building your empire on the side. And then once your empire gets big enough, then you're ready to walk away. So there's multiple ways that it could be done. But for me, I strategically planned it over a 5-year period, and I was making enough money where I could just take the 5 years and then I was ready to go.
How did that feel when you finally walked away knowing that you were getting ready to start? You've reinvented yourself and you decided to start something that you were going to be doing for the rest of your life.
Well, I have to be honest, because I know everyone out there is going to say, you better say the emotion that you felt, because I know everyone is going to feel it at one time. Fear.
Okay.
It's very scary. The fear of not having that security, the fear of, is it going to fail or succeed? The fear of, what are people going to say about me? And let me just talk about that. What are people going to say about me?
Right.
We live in a codependent society.
Right.
We can't make decisions about our lives unless we get the approval and the validation of others. I used to live in a people-pleasing type of mindset. I had a disease to please. And everyone told me when I was putting my plan in place, are you crazy? Why are you doing that? That's not going to work. That doesn't make any sense. You have this big $1 million home. I mean, there's no amount of money or tangible things outside yourself that can give you the fulfillment and the enrichment and the peace and the joy of what is inside. And that's where you have to go inside for answers. So I know that was a long answer, a long way around what you asked.
It's okay, because that's the most important part. A lot of folks, they have that fear. They have that desire to do something.
And pleasing other people, what others
because
want.
so many folks will tell you, hey, you know, you're crazy for doing this or you're crazy for doing that. But the thing about it is, that thing that makes you go, I gotta do this.
Right.
That's where you're supposed to be doing. That's that connection, that spiritual connection to what you were meant to do, what you were meant to be. All right, so let's come out of the corporate world. You're now doing this, but you also had a desire to teach. And when I say teach, you wrote a few books. Talk about that.
Absolutely. And I actually have several different facets to C. Holloway Hill Enterprises, which is my company that I started. It's an LLC. And because I was in corporate America in executive management roles, and I learned so much, so I can't say it was a waste of my time, because it wasn't. I learned a lot of business knowledge, financial knowledge, executive leadership knowledge. And so I love to teach not just those, and I do go into corporate America and I teach employees, because employees are an organization's greatest assets. So I do that, but I also teach individuals not to be afraid, not to be a people pleaser and have that disease to please, that you can't look on the outside for that validation, because you'll always be chasing money. And if you continue to chase money, you'll never have inner peace. So you've got to decide, which one do you want to do? Do you want to please people? Do you want to chase money? Do you want to always be on the go, jumping from project to project, venture to venture? Or do you want to live according to your purpose? Because it's been said that when you are living according to your purpose, you'll never work another day in your life.
And I know that. I understand that.
I know you do.
But you know what? I like this position right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to continue talking to Cathy Holloway Hill, and we're going to talk to her about the things not only that she has done, the things that she's doing, but also some future things that are coming up, some exciting things that I know we're excited about as a corporation and a team. So stick around. We've got more Living by Design coming up in just a moment.
Cathy Holloway Hill, founder and CEO of C. Holloway Hill Enterprises, is committed to providing her clients with the highest level of excellence, with a special emphasis on employee branding. The greatest asset organizations possess are their people, and C. Holloway Hill Enterprises teaches you how to maximize their potential, which leads to reduced turnover, improved morale, and increased profits. Their youth programs will transform our young people into future leaders. Their services can be customized to meet your specific needs, and the metrics speak for themselves. So, if you're ready to receive results-oriented services, then let's get growing with C. Holloway Hill Enterprises today. Visit their website at www.chollowayhill.com or call 502-387-7701.
Welcome back to Living by Design. I'm Tony Lamont with Cathy Holloway Hill, the host of Living by Design. And I have an opportunity this time, if you're just joining us, to interview you, which is a pleasure and a privilege. You've been doing some amazing things within the community, talking to some great folks. And so it's a great opportunity for us just to kind of share with our viewers what we've done. In the earlier segment, folks got an opportunity to hear about, what I've been doing.
Yeah.
In the second segment, we had an opportunity to talk about not only how you made that move from corporate America into your passion,
Yes.
but now we're going to talk a little bit more about the books that you've written.
Yes.
Let's talk about those books, because I know writing, and it's really amazing. A lot of folks don't know this. The way this really started was because you wanted to be a writer.
Yes, absolutely.
And writers...
I had a fear of speaking.
You're right. Writers have to be able to speak.
Right.
Because they need to talk about their product, their books, and their passion of writing. So I know you and I had that conversation, and I said to you, you're going to have to speak. You're going to have to do book tours and all those kinds of things. So you started the process of learning how to be a public speaker, and then doing that. And this is what has culminated from that. That's an amazing transition.
And Tony, you are so right. And I have to just say with that little piece about the public speaking, because as you know, I had a horrible fear of public speaking to the point where I would have panic attacks when I was in corporate America if I knew I had to do a presentation.
Right.
When I stepped out on faith to pursue my passion, this is how God works. It's like I did do Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. I was only in Toastmasters for 1 month.
Right.
When the president of Toastmasters came to me and said, you don't need this. The first time I got up, they call it an icebreaker. The first time I got up and I did my icebreaker, I walked from behind the podium. It just felt natural to me. It's when you're in your element and when you are living according to your purpose and your passion, things they just come alive, they just flow. The first opportunity I had to actually be on the platform was women's empowerment.
Yeah, that was amazing. It really was.
It was my first opportunity, and I think that was back in 2007, and you were the one who opened that door for me, and I thank you so much for that, because, a lot of people say, well, Tony Lamont, you knew Tony Lamont, and yes, you did get me in there, but once I walked out on that stage, I knew I was terrified, but when I walked out on that stage, it's like something came over me.
Well,
I came alive.
Folks had an opportunity. I saw it in you. Folks had an opportunity to see your passion.
Yes.
And the thing about it is, when you have that passion and that design that has been put in you to make sure that happens, it comes out. So you got on that stage and folks saw something, and from that point, it's been history, because I think you are one of the few people that have been at Women's Empowerment Series record 5 times. I think they've asked you to come back.
5 times in 7 years.
Yeah, in 7 years. And so that's an amazing run. And not only that, not only have you done the women's empowerment, but you do corporate training. Talk a little bit about this corporate training, because a lot of corporations need the kinds of teachings and kinds of things that you do. Talk about that side of what you do with C. Holloway Hill Enterprises.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of corporations make which is what causes them to go bankrupt and, they have to close their doors or lay off a lot of employees, is they neglect their greatest asset, and that's their people.
Right.
The people are the ones who are going to build up your product or build up your service. If you have toxic employees, then you're going to have a toxic environment, and your customers are going to feel that.
Right.
And I really try to encourage employers to understand that their employees are a brand. Each individual represents a unique brand. They have unique gifts and talents, and they need to tap into that. And the first thing most corporations will do is cut the budget, cut the training budget.
Right.
And that's not the way to go. So I go in and I explain to them that it's very important that you invest in your employees, because they are your greatest asset. Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing how corporations put employees on the expense sheet, and they put the stuff, the machines and computers and all that on the asset P&L. Right. So I think it's amazing. But anyway, so I try to get them to understand that you've got to invest in your employees, because they are going to be your greatest asset. So when they understand that, then we can start to put a plan in place to bring out the best in them, to build on their brand. So these competencies that we teach them, how to resolve conflict and how to find the inner leader, that everyone possesses leadership skills on the inside. So bring that out and manage change. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen.
Let me ask you this, because there's something that I know that is new when it comes to employees now. And, and a lot of companies are recognizing this, and that's why you've been very busy, is that when we talk about brand, of course, you think of the brand of you think of the brand of the product.
Yeah.
But employees are brands.
Yes.
They're actually part of the branding of the company, but if companies start paying attention and allow those employees to be a brand, they take pride in what they do, don't they?
Yes, absolutely. And when I say brand, it's your unique qualities, your unique talents, your unique skills, your strengths, your attributes. We all have them. That's our brand. So when an employee organization aligns their vision and their mission around the competencies that their employees possess, that's what builds the company up. Your products and your services can only do so much, because who's selling those products and services? And when you're dealing with your customers, customer service, you're calling in for a complaint. Who's taking those calls? People.
Right, and what's amazing is a lot of companies don't realize that, their employees being their brand, they're selling 24/7.
Exactly.
They're representing their company. So your company, C. Holloway Hill Enterprises, does a tremendous job with that. As a matter of fact, if a corporation or company wants to get in touch with, what's the website? It's
chollowayhill.com, and I have worked with tons of international companies, Chevron and Mays Chemical here locally, and just a ton of other organizations, Girl Scouts of Central Indiana, just an amazing organization. So yeah, go visit my website. It's all there. Also want to mention a couple of public workshops. Tony, you know as well as I do, because we're such a great team, when you build the community, you build a nation. And it starts right here at home. So we've got to be the ones, the community leaders, to go out there and help people understand that they can't allow the stumbling blocks and the pain. People want to try to get away from their pain because it hurts, and they don't want to be reminded. They don't want to bring it up to the surface. But I want to do some public workshops so that we can help individuals to, first of all, remove the pain, heal from the pain, and then set goals for their lives, because every person was placed on this planet for a unique purpose.
Right.
And that's the reason for starting the public workshops. And then we're going to do one the 28th of March, and it's for teen girls. And the flyer is up on your screen. And we really want a lot of the teens to go to this workshop, because it's all about who owns your identity.
Right.
And this was actually, when I wrote this article, when I first came out of corporate America, Ebony Magazine reached out to me because I don't know where they found it, but they found it, and they reached out to me and said, we want to do this story on you. And they did that story because it was so profound to walk away from that in the midst of an economic crisis.
Right. I want to say it's been a pleasure having an opportunity to sit in your seat to share with this audience some things that they may not have known about you. I've known about them, of course, being your husband. So if you want to learn more, you can go to your website, which is
chollowayhill.com.
That's right, and all the information about C. Holloway Hill Enterprises is right there. Also, my website, which you can go to, it's on the screen, you can see there right now, and you can see all the things I'm doing. But it has been an absolute pleasure.
It certainly has.
Sitting here, and you know what I think I want to do a little bit too, if it's okay with you, is sometimes I think I want to be a reporter for Living by Design. Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully you'll see me a little bit more, but thank you for joining us in this special edition of Living by Design. We'll see you next time.